And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. Wednesday edition, frosty morning this morning. Lowest I saw was 36, but I did see Weather Bug and some of them reporting some frost around. It was cold, but it's not going to last. The sweat will be on Sunday. 85 projected high.
Fantastic.
And, no, it's not. No, I'm completely good with 40 to 70. I'll take that 30-degree spread.
No humidity, though. I mean, low humidity, right?
Yeah, very low.
Yeah.
So we're still okay.
That'll be back, too. Yeah, summer's just around the corner. And it makes a fat man sweat, and I don't want any part of that. I used to do hot weather. I can't do hot weather anymore. No, I can't. Even though I'm not quite as fat as I used to be. Wow, look at there. There's Addison 10 years ago in my Facebook memories. And she is got her Dr. Seuss socks on that are red, purple and white stripe playing that. Let's see, 10 years ago she would have been 8 going on 9. So she would have been probably, would that be Coach Pitch at 9? Would that be?
No. They're playing.
Okay.
They're playing.
She got the mask on, which always pissed her off.
Yeah.
And, of course, I told my story yesterday about my little third baseman from Wesley's day of playing. But anyway, I digress. Glad to have you in this morning. Richie, good morning. Andrew Ross, good morning. Milton. Tepper's making South Carolina mad. We'll get into that. Stephen, good morning. Thank you, honey. I will say good morning to you because if you comment, I know you're there. If you don't comment, I don't care how many people pop up when you're watching Facebook that say that I can see. I can't see that. I used to, but I don't have that anymore. So you have to say something. She was mad because I didn't speak to her yesterday. And, of course, her comment this morning was get the pool ready. There you go. Just call me Javier. I am the Latin pool boy.
Fine-looking Latin pool boy.
What can I say? Yeah.
Fine-looking.
And you know what? I've got an assistant, Javier, too. I just hook him up and throw him in the pool, and he takes care of keeping that pool clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
The greatest.
One of the greatest inventions ever.
One of the greatest investments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of times people say, oh, that's an expense. Let me tell you something. If it has any repeated value at all, it's very likely.
Jonathan Beam, good morning. Here's the deal.
Mine's worked so hard it's faded.
Let me tell you. Mine is too. When I put it in at the beginning of the season,
it
don't come out.
No.
It don't come out till the end of the year. No, it's in there to stay.
That guy ain't seen
and it's
there
got
in
a schedule.
Oh, yeah.
And you plug that thing in, you turn it on, it pops on, it clicks, and it will scare the teetotal piss out of you because it climbs the walls, and you can be out there, and it'll climb the wall, and when it gets to the top, it goes.
Starts sucking air and water.
And it starts flopping through the water, and you're trying to think, holy God, what just went in the pool? Yeah. But it's not. It's just Javier, too.
No. Javier.
I think I've got enough water. I had to put a new liner in, got a deep blue liner, much better. I wish I'd done that years ago. This is my go ahead and make this public announcement. This is my last liner. This is my final liner.
Oh, yeah.
My wife's next husband can put the next liner in because I'm done with the pool after this one. That's the last one. Lasted me 12 years.
That's what I was going to ask you.
I'm 62. That'd make me 74 if I'm still here. Yep, that's my last one. I'm pretty sure.
Where do you think you'll be living in 12 years?
I hope it's not here.
Yeah,
But
you will.
No.
You'll be right here.
No. This will be here. This will be here because it's so affordable. Unless you come up with some new investments or something that I might want to partake in.
We were talking about that before we went on the air, right? There we go.
Yeah,
Down the rabbit hole we go.
There you go. So
we'll just stick with the stuff that's time-tested, true, boring, and proven. Okay?
I got to put just a little more water in my pool, and then I'm ready to balance and get it going. So I'll have that there. I'm trying to get – I got to go out of town this weekend on a little unexpected trip, and so I'm going to try to get it done because I know that my wife was out laying by the pool last week, and she says it is so hard to lay by the pool and not be able just to get into the water just a little bit to cool off.
Well, if it's going to be 85
and my wife says
this weekend.
We aren't going anywhere.
Got it.
That's what my wife says.
No, I was just asking because, sometimes – like you said, when you get to that point, there may be a, place that, you go to, and I don't know, not necessarily live there, but spend a lot of time there.
I've told you
what
the option that I put out there.
Oh.
You're going to be independently wealthy in 12 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just want to be not in debt. That's what I want to be.
Y'all are independently wealthy.
I have no. The bank is. Bank's in great shape. Yeah. I heard a guy talk about people throwing money away on rent. Well, if you borrow money from the bank, you don't own anything. You're still making that monthly payment.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a true statement, throwing money away on rent, because, there's so many and everybody's situation is different, right? Mm-hmm. So to say that maybe that person would look at it as throwing money away by the way they perceive things. Some people look at it as, hey, look, I just make a payment. Anything that breaks, they fix it. It's about convenience for some people.
Yeah, that's right.
not really a fair statement. A lot of times
I'm a convenience guy.
Well, no, but a lot of times when I hear people say, you should do this, what they're really saying is, this is what I would do.
If I'm going
to looking at it through your eyes.
If I'm going to stay here under the bubble.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well,
if I'm going to be here under the bubble.
I'm going to be here.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
If there's another old man condo comes open on Main Street, that bad boy's mine. I
What
should
if
have brought
it's
the
not on
last
Main
one.
Street? What if it's
I don't
on
care.
one of the other
I'm okay.
streets?
I'm sure. I don't care. No, I'm okay.
And it's a 55 and over.
I don't care.
Where?
I don't care.
Here in town.
My wife could never live there because
there some coming open.
My wife
There's
could.
very
My wife
likely
could never
gonna be
live
some
there.
coming open.
My wife could never live there
Oh, no.
because she's never going to be 55. I'm just saying. I'm not
going to get into that.
I told you the concept that I put out there. I told my two kids when I redid the basement, it's yours to live there as long as you want to. It won't cost you a dime. However, you get older, want a life of your own, move out. Here's the option. Once you move out, I don't need 3,000 square feet and 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths and pool and acre of ground and all that kind of stuff. I told my wife we'll either sell the house and we'll move somewhere smaller, downsize, or you can buy my half out and I'll move somewhere else. Either way, I'm good. I'm just trying to make it easy. She just posted, I'm not 55 nor close. Yeah, you didn't think you'd ever make 50 either to where you had to say it, but you are.
Ooh.
And it looks good on you. It's okay. Hey, if you ain't getting older, you're dying. Well, you're dying since you're born, but you know what I'm saying.
Holy
All right,
Richie's
got one. Richie said he had a coach get mad at him last night. He was coaching his youngest soccer team. There was a little talent and drive difference between teams. We are still where we don't keep score, but the parents and kids try to keep up. I think the final was 15-1. I kept trying different lineups and doing different things, and the boys kept scoring. He was mad that the kids kept scoring. You know, I have always said there's one thing if you run up the score, but there's another thing if you've played everybody but the band in high school, and they can't stop you. I can remember when Lincoln won the state title, there were a lot of people got mad at them because they would be up huge. They would be in the fourth quarter, and they're still slinging it down the field. Now, they were playing a third-string quarterback. Everybody was playing, but that was their offense. What are you going to do? If you're going to play kids that may have to go in one day, you can't say, well, just take a knee every down. You got to let them play. They need some success too. That's not running up the score.
That's a universal truth.
If you're in there in the fourth quarter and it's all your starters and you're slinging it down the field, that's different.
Yeah.
That's different. But when you've called them off and you still can't be stopped, which sounds like what Richie was doing.
Right.
You're always going to take the slings and arrows. That's kind of a universal truth, right? If you're a team and you're always winning and you're winning by large margins, they accuse you of running it up no matter how.
You have to look at the details.
Yeah. However you're trying to develop your kids and getting them enough playing time and whatnot.
You can't tell your kids not to try.
You can't.
You cannot tell your kids not to try.
Sending bad signals.
Honey, you didn't listen. He is Milton says, 4, take the shovel away from me. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not a pool you're digging.
4, Kim said, 4, I do that 55 and up place if he puts me in a pool. It's a condo. If it has a pool, it will be a community pool, and you know how you feel about those.
You got to pay HOA dues, too.
That's okay.
Right? Would you have to do that?
Yeah, but they take care of everything. Yeah, I like that.
So basically the way that, a lot of them are working now, okay, and whether they have a pool or not, let's just say any kind of, and it's smaller, complexes like, 4 to 8 condos that are in there together, not squeezed in. There's separation
Yeah.
Not necessarily by air, but there's separation between the homes, so there's enough to move around. You kind of have
patio
your
homes,
area to
like they
around.
did down that trilogy across from East
Right.
Lincoln.
So they will theoretically take care of the internet. It's an inclusive package is what I'm trying to say, except for a lot of times, except for maybe overage use of power. They'll even include power to some degree, but then if it's over a certain amount, then the home person living there would need to kick in.
And see, that's kind of where I'm at now. I do EPP with the town on the draft.
Yes,
They
which is a great option.
Absolutely.
It really
After
is.
they cut mine off a couple times, I said, well, if y'all would develop something different, make it easier on me so I didn't have to remember to pay the power bill.
I did a good job with that. When you know what I'm saying? I mean, because it's a way to help people, assess the risk of the power, spikes throughout the year, still be able to budget, and then have the automatic draft and other things you can do set up.
Another one of those great things.
Yeah.
I don't have to remember to pay bills.
No. The
last
more I
thing on
put
my mind. Don't mind
yeah.
paying them, but it's the last thing on my mind. I don't have to remember it. I just want it to happen. Just happen.
Manage auto payment. Here it goes.
Yep. Richie said just moved to Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville retirement community. Well, unless they build one Maiden, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, well,
I still want to move
there
to
are a
Hickory.
bunch of them in Florida.
I still want to move to Hickory.
Boy, holy cow!
I want to move somewhere that's closer to civilization.
Dude, you're 30 minutes from Charlotte and Denver,
and I have no desire to be.
No, what I'm
either
saying,
one.
though, but I mean, it's we all kidding aside, we actually, we
I can live in Denver.
We live in a fantastic place because it's so easy to get wherever you want to go. I'm gonna die. I wasn't born here, but I'll die here. I'm not moving again. I
may die here, but don't have to go in the dirt here.
I told Mandy, if she gets tired of me, that's fine. I mean, I get it. I would too. But her new husband can come downstairs and watch college football with me because I'm not moving. I'm done. I've moved like 10 times. I'm done. If he likes college football, come on down, dude. I got an extra chair.
There you go.
I'm all. Hey, I can get along.
I'm too old to care.
Yeah. It's all good.
That's all you can say.
It's all good.
Richie said he did keep the kids in that seemed to fall down more often and take longer to get up.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I've been on both sides of that before.
I know.
And you have Juju, player, I mean, coach, you know. I mean, the thing about it is you can't really manage how somebody else feels. All you can do is do your best to do the right thing and what you think is right. That doesn't mean because somebody disagrees with you that you're wrong and they're right. But there's a couple different points of thought on that. Number one, some coaches say, well, it's your job to stop me. Now, those are the guys and ladies that live on the other side of the fence that have more great teams than not. Because if you've ever been on the other side, compassion definitely kicks in really quick when you're wearing somebody else out. Because, again, I was a head football coach at Madison. Before we got things turned around, it was bad. It was bad. And I had people, 70, 80 points. Now, a year later –
I took one of those up here.
Well, but,
71
a year later, we lined up between the tackles. I said, that's fine. We may not beat you by 70, 80. We're going to beat you. We lined up to about 5 minutes ago in that fourth quarter, and it looked like a mash unit out there.
Well, I told you when I came up here, our first year of playing varsity schedule when I was at Highland, last game of the season, we got beat, I think, 71-7.
Right.
And Tom was playing non-starters in second quarter.
Oh, yeah.
And Fred met me at the dressing room door at halftime and said, Lanny, I'm not being smart-ass, but Tom wants to know if you want to go to 10-minute quarters and not stop the clock in the second half. I said, you tell Tom. I said, thank you.
Absolutely.
Because my kids were ready to go play basketball.
Yeah.
They were done. And then
Coach
we had to go.
Brown was very
and then we had to
gracious
go.
about
We had to go
that,
play a
though. He
freaking
was
playoff game at Lakewood High School on the outside of Fayetteville, which was asinine. But anyway, we and that's exactly what we did. And mostly JVs played in the second half.
Yeah.
Which was a little more kind of what we were because we were a brand new program, startup program. But you do what you can do. That's all you can do. You do what you can do. And most coaches, I know very few that won't. And sometimes some coaches will do it because they got some old burrs under their saddles from years gone by. And,
that's sad.
That's sad. And there's a lot of that out there where payback's hell.
Yeah, it's not as much as that now because we've seen so much coaching turnover.
Well, there's not the old hats it used to be that's got the baggage.
But you got a lot of new guys too that don't, that all they think about is stats.
Yeah.
As opposed to, doing the right thing for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of blur between that. A lot of that has to do with style versus substance, Madden football, all these things. It's Juju, you talked about it 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Lane and I talked about it a month or so ago with the younger. There's a lot of younger offensive coordinators that are becoming head coaches, and that's kind of the way the NFL is going to.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't make anybody right or wrong or whatever; it just makes it what it is. But the most stable programs have that diverse mix of offensive and defensive-minded people, and a head coach that trends that way. They talk about Kyler Murray and and Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, it's it can be exciting at times, but is that really? I mean, really, what has that done for Arizona? Really,
hasn't moved them forward.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah. The great athlete, but yet you don't win the championship. I really don't know where would you be?
Yeah,
and that's what I've said. That what it boils down to is there's more and more franchises that certain improvements become enough.
Yes.
And that's not good. Yes. I've always said it's I'm trying to think. It's okay to be happy but never be satisfied.
That's right.
I mean, it's okay to get to a point where you're comfortable, but don't be satisfied, because if you don't, you're not reaching. Let me take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to give you the breaking news that the Carolina Panthers have solved their issues for the coming fall.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit mooneyinsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. And welcome back. Glad to have you here on a Wednesday morning. Happy hump day to you. Let me give you a couple of things here that, we're getting close to the draft, of course.
8 days.
But the biggest thing that happened yesterday, this is where the Carolina Panthers they've already come out and said, and they're, you can count on everything they say. Just ask Rock Hill. Sam Darnold has been emphatically made the default starter for the season.
Yeah.
Guys, the last 3 years of his stats, not including this year, he was the worst performing quarterback in the NFL that had X number of snaps before going into this season when they acquired him. Now, again, sometimes stats tell the story of what's happened, maybe not how it happened. He's a good guy, and his workouts. This guy works at his craft. But sometimes
the bad thing that's hurt him is the movement. Just like with anybody, and I'm not a Baker Mayfield defender, but he's had no continuity. He hasn't helped himself, but he's had no continuity in where he's been.
I think I'm kind of like you, but I think Baker's issues are a little different than
they
maybe
are.
And to your point that you made maybe a couple of days ago, whatever. But Baker's is more of a how I react to my situation. And Sam Darnold's been very good about being proactive and saying the right things and being a good teammate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's not getting in trouble. Doesn't he doesn't criticize the team training staff and stuff like that like Baker did.
Now,
I go back to the old days in the NFL, and I know things have changed and everything, but quarterbacks usually don't really blossom until their fourth or fifth years.
Yes.
Really, truly blossom.
You've got to be a really exceptional quarterback from a maturity side to be able to do it.
Yes.
It's not about the tools when you come into the NFL. It's more about your maturity of understanding how that game works, and you can be a great athlete, but it takes a little while to get ingrained how the NFL works, I think. From a quarterback standpoint.
And I don't think Darnold's ever had an offensive line that could block him.
He still don't have one in case you keep a score.
Yeah, I mean, they made some upgrades with some free agent signings, and I still think unless they're not going to take a quarterback. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. They ought to just settle, draft the best offensive lineman, tackle that's out there left at number 6, sign – trade for Jimmy Garoppolo
let me
whomever.
give you this. Bill Barnwell, ESPN, did this morning, and here's what he said. He says that the Carolina Panthers should trade their number 6 pick to the Commanders, okay? The Commanders will get this number 6 pick and a 2023 third-round pick, and what they will get is the Panthers will get a number 11 first-round pick. So they'd drop back 5 slots to an 11, and they'd pick up a second-round pick, be it second round because they do not have a second and third. Now, here's the other thing. The Panthers are the only team left that have enough cap space to take either Jimmy G or Baker Mayfield without restructuring. So they wouldn't have to do it said the only other teams that might realistically be in the market for a veteran quarterback would be Seattle and Pittsburgh.
No.
And if either of them draft a signal caller, Carolina might be able to buy low for the services of one of those 2021 starters as their only landing spot, but not do it till June or July when nobody else has picked them up.
Steelers aren't going to I don't think. They may take a quarterback, but they're not going to take him with the number 20 pick.
You talking about the Steelers?
The Steelers.
You don't think they'll take Pickett?
No. I don't think.
I talked to a couple of guys that live up that way.
Now, as a fan, I think realistically, I don't think Pickett.
Here's what he says about the Steelers.
Okay.
He says the Steelers should trade. They should trade up to get the Giants number 7 pick. Giants would get the 20. Steelers will get the number 7 pick and a 2023 first-round pick. So first-round pick this year, first-round pick next year. and they could take Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett. I'm going to be honest with you. Out of all those, I honestly believe Malik Willis is going to be the one that comes out and surprises people. He's going to be the next Josh Allen from Buffalo.
I just
he
don't
might be the
see it.
next.
I don't see
He
it.
might be the next, quote, Lamar Jackson.
I really like him, too. I think he's very athletic.
He's huge.
No.
Malik Willis is.
Yeah, what you're saying does make sense, like when you look at it. But I think when you get to that point, as Mac Jones has shown us, it's about your level of preparation, and then playing against that type of athlete. In the SEC, Mac Jones saw NFL speed every week that they played a conference game, whether that SEC team was really good or maybe middle of the road. They still had NFL caliber athletes on defense.
Mm-hmm.
This young man in his schedule has not seen that.
No.
And we don't know – I say we. Well, I guess that's fair. We don't know how he's going to react to that kind of speed.
And you're right. He's small. I thought he was big.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you were talking about like his numbers and stuff.
No, I'm talking about size. I thought
didn't
his
know you were talking
physical
about
size. Yeah, he's only 6 foot
But
tall.
he is – I'm not discounting how good that athletically that he is. And all. The question I have is how is he going to be able to react to the speed that's the same as his?
Steelers went and hired an assistant quarterbacks coach yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They got 2 quarterbacks coaches now. They hired
and no quarterback. That's awesome.
Well, no, I think I don't know if they're giving out smoke signals. I personally think they are. I think they're going to draft a safety or a wide receiver.
Yep.
But they're giving all signals that that Mike Tomlin loves Malik Willis, and if he's there, I don't think they'll move up because their general manager is going out this year. I don't think he wants to put the Steelers in a bad spot. But if he's there at 20, maybe.
Yeah.
Or if they trade back and maybe take a Desmond Ridder later in the first round or early in the second, if they can do that. But for them to draft all the way to number 7 in the capital they'd have to give up, I'd be surprised. Now, stranger things have happened. They've made some surprising moves here over the last couple of years, moving up into the draft and moving around. But if you talk to people up in Pittsburgh, they think that the Steelers are hell bent on getting Malik Willis.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: how much do you take? And I pulled up his bio, and I wasn't aware of this. How much do you put into that formula? Going back to your point. He originally signed with Auburn.
Yeah.
Right.
He transferred out of Auburn.
Right.
So did he see any SEC action, or at least at practice he was playing against,
the idea would be that he would be like in a Flacco situation, right, where Joe Flacco went to Delaware State or whatever it was. I think he's a blue hen. Right. But
beat by Appalachian in case anybody's keeping score.
But he was a high-profile Division I.
Yeah, he started at Pitt.
You know what I'm saying? That made that move.
Yeah, Flacco was at Pitt, then transferred to Delaware.
And again, it's about that preparation, and have like Juju's talking about the Steelers hiring a coach. The 2 guys that I talked to that live in Charlotte that are brothers that are from Pittsburgh, and their family members and friends, like you're talking about, are very closely connected into the Steeler organization and words and things that go around. What Juju said is, I was going to say a few minutes ago, is exactly what they told me. But the other twist that one of the guys Dave told me is that they may look at drafting an offensive tackle as well to do more security and then trade for a safety.
Okay.
I thought that. No, I'm not saying they would. I just thought that was interesting though because they said exactly what you said, and they threw the offensive tackle thing in there. So I don't know.
I don't know if there'll be an offensive tackle. Maybe if they go up to number 7, there could be one of the big left tackles out there, a guy that the Panthers could draft.
Richie said he asked me on here, said who's the best offensive lineman out there, and I said the kid from NC State.
There's like 4,
but he won't be there at number 6. He doesn't think.
No.
And then Jonathan said, are there any other quarterbacks that the Panthers could take in later rounds? The problem is there's no quarterbacks in this draft. There's nothing. There's nobody. I mean, even the guys that are out there, if you look at next year's quarterback class, if these guys were out there, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, they wouldn't be considered first-round talent.
I think
based on the ones that are coming out next year. So that's the whole thing, John. There's nothing there.
And he's right, but I think the boy
and not any great free agents either.
I think the kid from Ole Miss, the Corral kid, is going to be the one that actually does the most.
He reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson.
Exactly, and it's because of his ability, to be able to manage within what he's being asked to do. And remember, he's played for Lane Kiffin for more than 2 years, who is an NFL guy, whose dad is a lifer in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Who knows how to prep. Who prepped Mac Jones. So I think there's some discount here that's not being considered that may not be a popular narrative with the media, because he's not really as exciting as the other two kids that we've talked about. They're in more of a major market area.
Yeah.
Even though you don't look at Liberty as major market, it's near. It's in the Southern Belt.
But you got to look at who their coach is.
Right. And again, yes, 100%.
I mean, like him or not like him.
No, right. But again, this may be something for us to maybe just kind of follow a little bit.
But Milton sums it up before I take a break. Milton says, nope. Panthers have no clue about anything. That would be exactly true back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit MooneyInsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call for a member today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. And welcome back. Working our way through here a Wednesday. Beautiful day outside. Going to be about 65. Not going to be as cold tonight. Warm weather is coming in. And Juju had an idea of a topic. And we beat everything else up that we could think of so far this morning. So we'll move on. Introduce us to your topic, sir.
What if in sports? Looking at either, if we do football, we could do it in college football, pro football, high school football even. What if a scenario, what if something happened, how would it have changed? And I'll throw it out there. What if, the one I came up with was, what if Rich Rodriguez had accepted the Alabama job in December of 2006?
Yep.
How would that have changed the world of college football?
You wouldn't have had the dominance. I think you'd had Saban somewhere else being dominant. Why am I thinking he was he not
Rich Rod was at West Virginia.
Yeah, was he not pursued? Was Saban not pursued by back to LSU or Florida? There was somewhere else in the SEC before he went to Alabama.
He was in Miami.
When he left Miami, but there were some other SEC programs that were pursuing him.
I saw a story yesterday, or maybe it was Monday, and then that's why I came up with this topic. And so I went and did some research, and I think the timeline, Rich Rod turned him down, said he would think about it. Supposedly, he said,
"How do you think about it?"
Well,
they were in disarray. It was
don't
bad.
care.
Yeah,
No,
Alabama
I know.
was in. They had
It was
gone through like
bad.
5 coaches in about 10 or 12
bad.
years.
It was bad.
So he took a day to think about it, and one story I read said yes, he had accepted it, then changed his mind. He says he didn't really announce that he was coming, but he did tell them on one day later, December 8th, that he was turning them down, and then they went and hired Nick Saban by January the 3rd.
There is such a rabbit hole. Okay,
Steve Spurrier said thanks, but no thanks.
Yes.
He had just started at South Carolina. And
and that's a powerhouse.
Well,
That's
he
a
said,
great
I
move.
got a chance to build something maybe.
No, he
and
wanted
do
to hand it
something.
off to his son. He was going to do the Lou Holtz thing.
Yeah, and maybe that was the case, but I just think had Rich Rod taken that, because I think the next year he took the job at Michigan.
That's
But-
what I was getting ready to say. He felt like, I guarantee he felt like the landscape in the Big Ten was on a trajectory that the SEC could not keep up with, because you had teams like Alabama and LSU. LSU was still really good, but they weren't what they were under Saban, right?
No.
So now, not to say they don't win national championships. That's not what I mean. But the Big Ten was really getting a lot of publicity up north. All of this. That's when Maryland and all these teams started thinking about making the move, and the expansion started, and it really looked good from that standpoint. But when you hire somebody like a Saban,
Because SEC
and Les
was full.
Miles that's what I'm saying.
They already
Les-
had so many teams.
You had some stability at the time with Petrino and the big guy Brett
Bielema.
Yeah,
Bielema.
That was Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. There were some things that looked like they may be solidified for those teams for a while. Right.
Who was the coach before Saban? Was it Shula?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the guy that never coached a game. Mike. He got hired, and then something happened. He was messing around at some clubs, and they fired him.
Okay.
I don't think he ever coached a game. It
what's his name that left Georgia Tech to go to Notre Dame and never coached a game?
That was because of a resume.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Which was absolutely.
And
if
maybe
you
it
look
was
back
Shula, but there was a guy maybe right before Shula.
No, there was. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about, and there was that scenario that came up. But that's why I'm saying on Juju's what if. The whole landscape of college football, because Saban would have landed somewhere, and the result you see at Alabama is what would happen.
But take that one
where he
step.
would be.
Take that one step further. We talked about it earlier in the week. What if Saban had gotten Drew Brees at Miami? Saban would have probably never went back to college, and the whole college landscape would have changed there, because who knows what would have become of Miami had he gotten a Drew Brees and stayed.
And if that had happened, then would New England still have all the dominance they had in that league, or would they have had less home field advantage, which obviously helped them several times getting to AFC championship games and then to the Super Bowl.
You know, that's a big what if. You talking about in the NFL, I'll take it 6 years earlier when Tom Brady was drafted. And my big what if, the quarterback's coach and offensive coordinator for the New York Giants was Sean Payton.
Yep.
Sean Payton shared the same agent as Tom Brady. Supposedly, he pounded the table to
Who was head coach
of
at
the Giants.
Was that Parcells?
No. Kerry Collins was the starting quarterback.
Yes.
They went to the Super Bowl.
Tom
Coughlin.
No, it wasn't there
Before
yet.
Coughlin?
No, Jim
Fossil?
Yeah, Jim
yes,
Fossil.
Yes.
And so supposedly Peyton wanted to draft this Brady guy to be the backup quarterback and maybe challenge Kerry Collins. And they didn't draft him. They decided to stick with Jason Garrett as their backup quarterback to Kerry Collins. Now, what if the Giants had drafted Tom Brady in 2000 and not New England?
And the thing of it is, he may have got a shot like he did at New England. What if Drew Bledsoe never gets hurt?
Yeah.
Does Tom Brady really get a look? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's
a lot of what ifs out there, man.
And you talk about pieces like that when they happen, that ripple effect. You know, I'll take you down a little sci-fi rabbit hole here for just a second. If you've ever watched movies, and if you go back to the Future, Marty had to be careful what he did when he went back.
Oh, yeah, because it might change.
Because if you made one small change to history, you don't know how that unfolds 20 years later.
Or if you'd even be there, right?
Right, that's
so
right.
So you had
to
be careful.
Right. So the same thing with this. when you start looking at the what-ifs inside football, you don't know how things would change, because – would Tom Brady be Tom Brady if Drew Bledsoe never gets hurt? Because Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback.
And he was good.
He was really good. And the injury is what opened the door for a 6th-round pick to go in and play.
That most people, like Juju was saying, there's only just a couple of people.
You look at his – look at Tommy's pictures when he came out in the draft. He was just a scrawny kid,
It's hard to believe he got drafted out of high school for baseball, right? Being as tall as he was, being a catcher, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Great. I mean, but that shows you the greatness of his athleticism and, the lack of perception just looking at him as far as him being a great athlete. But then, his ability to perform, but the intangibles that go with the performance that compound to make the great overall makeup of the superstar.
And
says something.
Your what if again, the Notre Dame thing with George, what was his last name? That was the guy that left Georgia Tech and went to Notre Dame. Had the resume snafu. But and then he
O'Reilly, O'Keefe, or something like that.
He resurrected his career like at Central Florida or somewhere.
But he's a great coach. The problem was that they made I really don't know if it was really as bad as it's kind of like a narrative, right? That we see all the time.
I think it was more there were some people that did not want
That's
him.
kind of what I'm
and
saying.
This became an excuse.
That guy was there's no reason he couldn't have been the coach at Notre Dame.
George O'Leary.
That was it.
He's a good man. He's a good coach. Had it on the resume. Whether or not it was 100% accurate, which it was not. I mean,
I've heard one of the things that happened is another person who was one of the finalists for the job, who had either the same headhunting group or agent, got the word out like that. So they tried to sabotage it.
Yeah. And, go back to your what if.
Professional jealousy.
You go back to your what if with Rich Rod.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the same thing with the guy that got fired at Florida a couple of years ago that spent a year at Oregon, and I can't think of his name, but he never stayed long enough. He had success. He jumped. He moved. Rule's the same way. Rule had a lot of success early, but he didn't have no tenure at where he was at. Think about the coaches that can coach. Okay, Rich Rod could coach. He did it when he was at Clemson.
Yes.
And Bobby Petrino, he can coach. He makes some things happen.
No doubt.
What if those guys had concentrated more on the coaching than the extracurricular activities and the things, the power struggles. That was Rich Rod's problem, the way he treated some kids and different things. The power plays that they went on. Michigan may have never went in the tanks like they did when he got to Michigan. Because look what he did at West Virginia, and then he got the opportunity to go to the big stage. And then where did he go from there? Was it Arizona?
Yeah,
Arizona
I think
State?
so. Yeah,
a lot of times we talk about this with athletes, but it's true
Willie
with
Taggart.
coaches.
Thank you, Rich.
But it's true
that
with
was at
coaches,
Florida
too.
State.
You know, your level of preparation and then the opportunities provided, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your training and your experiences. And sometimes things are just too big. That's why we talk about some people are really good coordinators that, you know, became head coaches and maybe just wasn't the best fit, you know, for them. They just, for whatever reason, weren't as good at, you know, at that as.
And I think maybe
head
some of the
coaches.
smart coaches, head coaches, know that it's not a good idea to keep bouncing around.
Yeah.
I mean, to keep chasing the best.
Teachers
job.
are the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, now you can do it because there's so many openings. But all right, let's switch gears just for a second because Todd brought this up and he's bringing some facts in here to the Panthers fiasco.
Okay.
$800 million was this deal in Rock Hill, and now they've got this shell of a building that everything stopped. Todd said, it's a little off subject, and I missed a couple days, but we didn't get into this. He said it comes down to Dillon rule versus home rule. South Carolina does not have the local government commission, which oversees all local government funding. In North Carolina, we have the LGC. We are the only state in the country that does, because we had a ton of local governments that went bankrupt during the Civil War. Right. Now, banks love North Carolina local governments because it is literally against the law for us to default, and the state will come in and take over the city before that happens. Yep. The state does a lot of things wrong, but they got that right. That's my civic lesson for today.
That's a heck of a civic lesson.
Well, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
And right now, it's just a he said, she said down there.
Right.
And lawyers love to put stuff in there to default and 30-day cures and all that kind of stuff. And it could simply be a change of heart for Tepper. But the biggest point, this is the part that bothers me, and I'm not even in Charlotte when a lot of this was going on. Todd, you can help me with this. Not pointing any fingers. Why do governments with taxpayer money get involved and have to prop up and support billionaires or billion-dollar corporations?
Okay, I can go ahead and answer all that.
Jump in there.
So anytime that you have what you were talking about describing, whether it be in Pittsburgh or Charlotte or Atlanta, it is extremely important that you have public-private partnerships because of the opportunities for employment and quality of life that it brings to those cities. The problem is, I think that we all agree, is there's so much dysfunction with what's going on in Charlotte, and it's dysfunctional less because we're not privy to the details.
Right.
We're just privy to what we see. That it makes a hard case saying, why would the city invest into all this chaos when somebody over here's got all this money and they should put it in there? There's no business person in America, I say no, and I'm speaking pretty frankly about that is going to build everything on their own without including the local government or the state government or dual governments based on North and South Carolina with how close it is for innovation and, you know, investment into the quality of life. You know, you're talking everything from roads,
an infrastructure,
roads
yeah.
and bridges. Yes,
and
roads
that was,
bridges,
and my
all of
understanding
this.
that was the sticky point. They never got the bonds underway for the infrastructure improvement for roads and stuff, because all this is preparation, like you said, for a new stadium.
It is.
I mean, that's
It
what
is.
that's all about. And they never got that to come to fruition, from what I understand. Now, the city of Rock Hill is saying no, that's not the case, but it
won't
goes
be in
back
the
to
city,
it
though.
goes back to the infrastructure that was supposed to happen through bonds.
And if you look at the pictures, all the stuff of the facility is being built, but it's all this dirt and everything, but you don't see any roads being
and
built or
that's-
anything
and that's-
dug out
Okay.
or anything
so
like that.
why I think this is going to work
Curb
out
and gutter, huh?
without getting into economics a whole lot, okay, on the investment side of things. But why I think this is going to work out, as we're seeing right now in our country, we have a rise of rates, and they've been pretty quick. It's not really due to inflation as much as it is due to the Federal Reserve. Okay, they're trying to get ahead and slow inflation down by raising rates. Okay, what happens is when they raise the rates like that, bond yields have been very, very low for a long time. They've been in the anywhere from hardly anything to 2%, 3%, whatever. When you're able to issue debt, like you're talking about bond referendums and things like that, we know also that we have been traditionally in the lowest tax environment that we've been in a country, and and that's arguable and debatable, but numbers are numbers, like in the history of our country. Taxes are going to continue to go up, theoretically. They have to, for all the debt that's been incurred, right? That's one reason inflation's been, I wouldn't say allowed to run rampant, but it's run rampant to eat up some of the debt for the spending that's occurred through COVID and other projects that our elected people have. When you're able to issue debt at more than 3 or 4%, when it becomes tax-free, then you talk about tax equivalent yields. What does that mean when I would really, what kind of rate of return am I really getting if I had to pay taxes at this rate versus getting this tax-free income at this lower rate?
Right.
So then it becomes attractive. So as rates continue to rise, theoretically, you could start seeing bond issuance go out if rates did stay up for any sustainable amount of time.
Because people will invest in those bonds because they get a return.
Because they're going to be able to get a higher return that they've not been able to see with, like Todd was talking about, with the local the way that the LGC was set up. And I used to attend when I was on council in Maiden. I think it was for like 8 years, I think it was. I used to go to these events that they would put on through Chapel Hill. That's where it was all based out of, and then they would do them all over the state. I would go to learn about these things and what Todd was talking about, how things work. He's right.
How it can benefit the town.
It's incredible, like how you learn to make deals and look for Charlotte to expand north at some point. How do we get the infrastructure in place here? And
we're going to put up a fence for the
right.
Yeah.
Make Newton and Lincoln
makes
pay
sense
for
too
it.
about South Carolina. The roads down there. I mean,
right. They're much improved, but they've been awful for a long time.
That's gas tax.
Yeah,
that's through the gas tax.
Yeah, so, but my point is, Laney, Juju, is that if we can, it's very likely with sustainable rate increase and bonds are actually able to pay a yield, and you're able to get some tax-free benefits from investors then you could see projects like this that you want a public-private partnership because of the revenues that will come to the city.
So you're saying perhaps that this whole thing is not done?
No. I don't think
it is. It's a pissing contest until somebody says uncle.
Right
This is basically what's happening.
Remember Bruton Smith?
Yeah.
Bruton Smith?
He said,
I'll take my Speedway and move away. I'll take my toys and go home.
See, Tepper's in a position where this doesn't matter.
He didn't get to be the richest NFL owner through business and not know what he's doing.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, because
he's doing it with soccer
he still
now.
is. He's still the richest owner in the NFL.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And there are people out there saying now that the Panthers are going to get up and move. They're going to move to San Antonio, is what I saw on Twitter last night. There aren't any places.
They won't let that happen.
There's another one, too. It's, I saw something. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Nashville? No, I got that team in Nashville already.
Is it Birmingham, maybe?
Maybe.
Just throwing throwing stuff out there. But, then all of a sudden USFL has all these games.
Yeah.
In Birmingham. Because they're testing the media. They don't care about the fan base right now. They're testing the media capabilities.
That's what it is.
It's crazy, man. I'm telling you,
Richie said this, and
wild.
Steven finished it up with it. Mike Price was the Bama coach that never coached a game.
Yes.
He was hired to replace Dennis Franchione.
Yep.
Okay, at Bama, on the job 4 months. Lincoln says because of the way that things are done, North Carolina lost out on the BMW deal to Greenville.
Yes, that's right.
Because Greenville came up with a better offer.
Yep.
And then
Todd knows about that.
And Todd said Rock Hill will blink first.
Yeah. No, he's right. He's right. But that's the way that it works.
I know.
And that doesn't make it wrong or bad. It makes it very confusing at times.
Yeah.
Because you got to get the deal done.
And then Todd said next time you check into a hotel, he said you need to check out the local tax you pay.
Yes.
Because the money must be used for tourism in North Carolina. He said, I think it's the same thing in South Carolina. He said, I believe the city of Charlotte makes something like $33 million in revenues average for every home game.
Yep.
Well, that funds a lot of crap.
Clearing it.
That funds a lot of crap. And so, But the average taxpayer, okay, like me, I don't know about it, and I don't care one way or the other.
Right.
I understand that you have to make investments to make things happen, okay?
Yes.
And I've seen governments make a lot more piss-poor investments than good investments that really make sense. Like, for example, and I've said this, and people may argue with me about this, Apple can never leave the money they've sunk in infrastructure because it would take so much to recreate it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you partner with people like that are going to, and the Panthers are another, that are going to make such an economic impact, you can't.
Is Catawba County too far away from Charlotte to do what they're trying to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do
you have to go through Gastonia
tell
to
me
get
what you're talking about.
to do what they're doing in Rock Hill.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to Rock Hill
no matter what.
No, we're not too far away because look at Foxborough.
Yeah, but still, it's going to Rock Hill. It's going to South Carolina.
Gastonia to get here, though.
It's going to South Carolina because South Carolina wants the tax revenue, the sales tax revenue, tickets, concessions.
I think
all of that stuff.
No, I agree. But to the point of Catawba County, even Burt County, even Alexander, Caldwell, any of that, the ability to be able to get into a place is so important. Not when it's all like it is when you go into Charlotte and just trying to find a place. You got to navigate this road, and it's just crazy. But if you can have a destination where you can funnel in longer, like you can in Foxborough, than having to keep going around a belt and all these things to get in there with all this other craziness goes on, if that's the focal point of that place, then the destination a lot of times will make sense. Look at Green Bay.
Well, I'm going to tell you,
Charlotte
did it right, and then they killed it when people started complaining because it wasn't uptown. When they built the second Coliseum out on Tyvola, they planned it. They set those roads up with the changing lane directions on games, and they could bring in 20 and dump 20 out in a matter of minutes because it was set up to do it. You can't get out of uptown. Now, they do a really good job, but you're still limited on how much you can do because there's so many people moving.
And just from a liability standpoint of going to a game when it's, and not necessarily Charlotte, but just in larger places like that are in the center of something, if you're not able to navigate and you got places to be and things to go, you want to go to the game, but you got other places you got to be or get back home for this or that. These things have to be thought about. That's why I think destination spots that are a little outside, and I say a little, it could be up to 40, 50 miles outside, make a lot more sense than just having it jam-packed in a city, unless you've got, like you said, 5 or 6 lanes coming in and 5 or 6 lanes going out so they can spread out and go.
Steven says Foxborough's a great game day place to be. Richie said put it in Pinehurst and they could practice at Richmond Senior. All right, we got to go. Have a great day. All right. Todd Herm says the rumor is that ASU will look at moving football stadium to Catawba County a long time ago due to distance to the airport. The state stepped in and now looked at all the road upgrades going to Boone. Well, here's the problem with that, Todd. They were doing those road upgrades 40 years ago when I went up there, and it's just been in the last couple of years that it's actually got done. So
and it works.
We'll
I mean, what they've done up there with that 4-lane, it does work.
Yep.
It works good.
Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.